No. No buffs will be stolen today. And they're going to look to try and deny some vision. Wonder has to be careful, though, because you can see that Rascal lying in wait in that Tri-Brush.
Looks like Clid is going to start unassisted on his blue buff. Of course, Nidalee with the spear does get a big burst of damage to start off that buff. And it's interesting to me that Jankos has decided to start blue himself. Often on Lilia, especially when I play with Ender, he likes to go for the Razor Beaks because you get so much out of clearing those multi-minion camps from your jungle talisman. You get all of that healing, you can just sweep them away. And it keeps you very healthy throughout the jungle, but Jankos here opting to be assisted by his bottom lane from your jungle talisman. Work his way towards all of that healing, you can just sweep them away. And it keeps you very healthy throughout the jungle, but Jankos here...
Ooh, Ruler.
Life has no flash, remember, he's going to dive in. Of course, no Shield of Daybreak, no stun on the Leona, only the Zenith Blade at level 1.
So we can see a bit of trading in the bot side, not that surprising. Wonder also not getting the better of Rascal at this level 1 point. Not really that surprising because of how you can use the Camille W to be obnoxious. Rascal has the stun. Oh, but another engaged bot lane.
Life ignited. Mickey looking for the acquired taste. Life is ticking down, but he will be able to survive. Mickey ticking away as well. Perkz does have heal in this matchup. Here's Jankos on his way down as well, and Life, of course, has no flash. There's the heal. They try and get Life out, but watch out, Eat Life. Perkz, Zenith bladed on. Life survives. Jankos unable to take the kill. That's a double for Ruler in the bottom lane, in the top lane. Rascal kills Wonder. Wonder kills him in response. Ruler will fall to Jankos, but what an incredible play from Gen G.
Everything comes together for the bot lane of Gen G, and huge props to Life there in the last second, diving on top of Perkz to create a gap between him and Ruler, actually stunning Perkz up. He was still only level 1, and that was the biggest problem for G2 in that situation. Not having the level 2, not having that additional health, those additional stats, anything, really put them behind and allowed the bot lane to come through. Let's have a look at this Axe replay from Rascal, and remember that he did get level 2 first. As the bot lane action was taking off, he is able to get the stun, lands it onto Wonder, and then he just commits to the fight. Is able to get good damage down. Wonder still on level 1. And then Wonder just goes back. He's trying to get the level 2 mark. Oh, he goes for the all-in, and then of course the shield comes through. Wonder very quickly realizes, I don't have the damage for this. Ooh, and then the flash underneath the tower. Still, definitely a worthwhile kill up there for Rascal. But we didn't get a replay of the bot line fight, unfortunately, and I really want to give credit to Life there. Considering he didn't have flash, it should have been an easy kill for G2 in the bot side of the map. But once again, we're seeing Ruler and Life kind of come out ahead in the 2 versus 2. If it wasn't for Jankos, that bot lane matchup could have been a lot worse. But now there's no summoners anywhere. Only mid laners have their flashes and TPs up Medic. That could mean even more action towards the bot side of the map.
Clid has his flash as well, and Wonder is trading here in the top lane once again. Rascal looking for the knockup. There it is. Wonder forced back. Jankos on his way. Rascal, remember, he's got no flash. He's got no hook shot. And the chase is on. Watch out as Jankos dives forward. Teleport coming in. Jankos looking for the kill, but can't quite get Rascal. In the end, he gets him. Blossoming Blows will get the kill. BDD chasing with the TP. Has a stun guard locked in. Will flash forward. And Jankos goes down for his trade, but Caps is having none of this. He wants a little bit more of an action. BDD, no flash, no way to get away. Is Wonder coming in as well. There's the taunt alongside the stun. BDD falls.
Whew. Okay, so a lot more action in this early game compared to last game, Medic. Already 4 kills on the board for both sides, and well, where do I even begin when it comes to breaking that down? So basically what happened is Clid was able to get double scuttle. That's important to note because right now he's been taking advantage of the fact that Jankos went for early ganks. He then looks at the top side of the map because Rascal has a pushing wave in and he wants to try and get a pick onto Wonder, but Jankos is there to counteract Rascal, who didn't have flash. Then BDD TPs in to actually mitigate or like turn the fight in their favor, but BDD is forced to use the flash because Jankos, keeping the passive stacked, uses that movement speed to just stay out of BDD's range. This, because he commits the flash, means that Wonder can come down, Caps can also collapse, and it ends up being a kill. He's going to sit on 2 rings. Why have I? Dark Seal? Dark Seal. Of course, they don't stack in terms of the stacks, but you do get that additional healing off the back of it, so it's still valuable to stack it up. Meanwhile, Wonder is kind of the one that's lost the most in all of this, because there was a huge wave that just crashed into the top lane tower. You can see that he's 10 CS down, but also a level down. And his level 6 is going to be heavily delayed. Meanwhile, BDD has just hit level 6. He's roaming bot, and he's looking for a gank.
Caps looking to try and join them, but he can't get in there in time. Mickey already down as Ruler takes the kill. BDD will fall as well. Caps didn't steal away the Destiny. Now, Ruler is getting chased down just a little bit. Life can look for the re-engage. 6-second cooldown on that stun.
but it ends up being a 1-for-1, and this time it's BDD who dies in exchange for Mickey. In terms of experience, gold, everything, much more worth for G2, because you're then going to give Caps the opportunity to push that wave in. He's then going to look for a roam himself, very common Caps play. Let's see if he can actually pull off a gank here. 3v3 in the bot side, more action, Medic.
He has the hijack. Perks trying to step forward, cleared in the right place to pounce. Out of the jungle, can come in. Enchanted Crystal Arrow's been stolen away, and they've already locked up Ruler, and now Cleared is next on the menu. The arrow's still available here for Caps if he wants to land the stun. Gets it immediately. Swellseed's going to follow it up, but no level 6 yet for Jankos. The dive is available, but G2 decide against it for the moment. They are distracted
I don't think they do, Medic.
by the minions. Life able to dodge to the side, but the tongue lash comes out onto Clint, who gets caught with the abduct. Life underneath the tower, still getting chased down here by Caps, who decides he doesn't need to sacrifice his life for the kill.
Wow, okay, so that's what Caps then uses his priority for, to punish Gen G as they try to push in that wave and get the wave to bounce back. This is why the BDD death was so impactful, and Caps utilizes it well. BDD tried to look for a roam up towards the top lane. He will be able to get a bit of farm himself. But wow, a lot of kills happening in this early game. And, you know, I was talking about at the beginning of this game how Jankos went much more towards focusing for himself. But this game, he's all about the ganks. He's really trying to punish the fact that so many summoner spells are being used. But also he's trying to counter gank a lot of what is happening on the map. And I respect BDD utilizing that ultimate the moment it hits level 6. But that one punish ends up working out so much better for G2.
Have a look at this from Caps' point of view. You can see consistently landing the stuns there onto Ruler, has that arrow stolen away, and is able to catch onto Cleared at point-blank range.
Yeah, good patience there, and they had the wave in a really good spot too, because they only had to clear a few more minions out to be able to commit to this play, and then a good set of CC is able to come through. They're able to get that initial kill. They wanted a little bit more, but then Caps realizes, my W still has a 9-second cooldown, probably not worth diving at this point.
And the important thing about that for G2 as well is, remember, Ruler got such a sizable advantage early on. He was 2 kills up as Rascal is taunted when diving underneath the tower. But Ruler was in such a strong position. Now Perks has been able to get some of that gold back. He's got a CS lead. He's got himself a kill. Yes, he's still behind in the pure 2v2, but he is not being forced underneath his tower regularly. You can see, in fact, Life has decided to come up here to join the rest of Gen G on the Rift Herald. Cleared diving in. Jankos just able to survive. Gets hit with a final spear as Cleared takes him down. And a little bit greedy there from G2 as Gen G had set up around this Rift Herald.
Yeah, really good punish from Clid and BDD there. I think BDD had Ghost on his
Spellbook?
Spellbook, yeah. And I think that he used that to actually close the gap between him and Jankos, and they were able to get the punish. Of course, in this situation, what we saw last game was G2 looked to try and make a cross-map play happen, so they would have either looked to try and make a dive happen bot, or perhaps even go for a Drake, but they instead tried to contest, and this is the best case scenario for Gen G, because now they can set up for the Drake themselves. They're going to be able to steal away some of the camps from Jankos, and Clid now putting himself in the position that Jankos was in game 1 with a huge CS advantage as the mid laners look to trade.
Yeah, Caps just jumping forward onto BDD. The Kingslayer, of course, heals you up more the lower you are as Life dives in, but good devour from Mickey will keep Perks safe for the moment. And very even game here, Vedius. 400 gold between the two teams, 6 kills to 7 at the 9.5 minute mark, and we're starting to see those first items on their way. Looks like it's going to be a Blade of the Ruined King possibly for Ruler in this game on the Ashe, work his way through the Shen. Of course, Silas gets pretty tanky as well, depending on how he decides to build.
It's pretty interesting there how they actually gave a lot of the mid lane farm over to Jankos as it was Caps threatening the enemy rafters. You can see that with Clid on the bot side of the map and with Destiny coming up, this is a situation where Gen G is definitely looking to set up for this Drake. They're going to drop a couple wards over the wall. BDD has just looked to reset. His TP will be up relatively soon, as many G2 members are going to reset. Ooh, the Storm Ray is already coming through for Perks. Definitely a big item purchase, going to give him a very potent early game spike. But with the push in bot, I think Gen G are going to have the priority on this objective, and they may look to just start this one off. Let's see how G2 respond. Wonder has TP and ultimate. Rascal is the same. Will they contest?
Jankos will look for a Swirl Seed. Chucks it out, misses Life and Ruler straight through the uprights, and Clid should just be able to take this dragon. Jankos stepping forward, but unable to get there in time. And this is kind of the story of G2 games. You talked about it a little bit in game 1, Vedius, but G2 really don't go for those objectives. It's always Gen G going for the objectives, and G2 just don't like the early dragons at all as they look for a fight down here towards the bottom lane, but can't find the connection onto Ruler.
Huh. There are those Drake
Got it in
stats
the
that
end,
you were
yeah.
talking about, Medic.
I'll be honest, the screen wasn't responding to my touch. I was wondering whether I'd lost feeling in my fingers.
But talk us through the stats, Medic.
So as you can see, G2 first dragon percent, it's the FD at the top. Only 30% of the time G2 go for the first dragon, whereas Gen G much more often go for that first Drake. G2 get about half the dragons in all of their games. Gen G get about 63%, about 2/3. And Barons, G2 actually one of the worst Baron taking teams at Worlds groups. Whereas Gen G consistently go for them, and now Gen G look for a fight in the mid lane, but Mickey is here and Perkz is here, and Clid is no longer. He's gone back to the founded. BDD tries to flash away, but there's no escape. The Solar Flare! Stopwatch from BDD underneath the tower. Perkz looking for the fourth shot, will get it. Rascal comes in from the side. The arrow's going to land from downtown as well. Solar Flare stolen away there by Caps. As Life looks for the re-engage. Ruler stepping forward. There's a stun. And now Ruler's been put to sleep. Underneath the tower he is dozing off. And Jankos will happily accept that kill. Rascal able to survive as 2 players from G2 go down, but they managed to pick up 4.
Wow. So, everyone in the mid lane here, Medic. What a crazy collapse and crazy team fight that G2 are able to come out on top of. I believe that was 4 kills for 2 at the very end of it. Like, I'm going to need a replay to back that one out, because where do we even start? So, initially, this is BDD and Clid looking to get a gank onto Caps. It looks like these overextended, but Shen ultimate plus the Tahm Kench ultimate actually allows G2 to collapse first. This is where they overcommit. A really nice stopwatch going to come through from BDD here as Wonder flashes underneath the tower, and then Life tries to get the stun. But Rascal's already making his way down. The Ash arrow comes through, and at this point, I think G2 could have just stopped and backed off, but in typical G2 fashion, always actually Life that flashes in to try and get the re-engage. And perhaps that was a little overzealous because he then baits his AD carry in. And it allows G2 to get a couple more kills. Good ultimate at the very end coming out from Rascal to lock Wonder underneath the tower. But it's G2 that's coming out ahead in the kills.
As Gen G looking for the pick. Rascal trading onto Perkz here in the bottom lane. Mickey actually had to flash forward. Deadly Flourish does not connect the Swirl Seed. It was wide as well. Curtain Calls have been brought down, but the trigonometry not working in Perkz' favor as he couldn't quite find the angle. Jankos still on the chase. Hook shots should just allow Rascal to escape.
Jankos' ultimate also still on cooldown. Wonder, I think he's going to die here.
4v1. It's not a fair fight as Wonder's locked underneath this top lane tower, puts down the Spirit's Refuge. Now he's going to try and get away. Goes in with the taunt, lands it onto BDD. Wonder locked up with the Solar Flare, and the kill goes over to Clid.
Wow, so he actually decides to try and taunt BDD. I think he wanted BDD to get tower aggro, but he actually didn't end up getting it. Meanwhile, Rascal dies on the bot side of the map. So I have a couple questions. The first one is I am surprised Wonder decided to stay underneath that tower. Credit to him for being able to clear out that wave and buy a little bit more time. Perhaps he realized that there was no way that he was getting out of that situation, so instead he just wanted to stall for as long as he could. Maybe he thought he could outplay it. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. But my other question is what exactly happens bot lane, and we're going to get a replay to find out. Rascal actually just tries to base underneath his tower, and he has no way to get out. Jankos tanking up the tower to allow Caps to deal the damage, and they're able to trade 1-for-1 in the end. G2 don't get that bot tower, but it is overall 1 tower for 1 on either side. G2, for now, sitting with the gold lead, but we're getting a very different game compared to what we had in Game 1.
It's a lot more chaotic, Vedi, as we are 21 kills at 15 minutes. Both teams taking equal amounts of plates, and one of the number I have to highlight is the fact that Caps, obviously last week went on a website, got onto the nearest library and said, hey, I want a library card because I need to book out this Medjay Soul Stealer. 14 chapters are written in it so far. It's got 11 more to go before that's fully stacked up.
How long have you had that one in the books?
I've been working on it a while, Vedi. Been working on it a while.
So, it's great that you brought up the mid laners, because we need to contrast what BDD and Caps have kind of brought into this game. I think what's really interesting is that there's been a really big debate, I think, around BDD and Caps, especially prior to the tournament. Many were saying that, like, you should rate a BDD higher than Caps, you should rate Caps higher than BDD, but I think that they've just been very different players, and they're often very difficult to compare. I think what's great about BDD is that he's been known as a very lane-dominant mid laner. I think that he's very consistent and very reliable, whereas Caps is all about roaming. He doesn't care that much about 1 versus 1. He's much more about playing for his team, and like you can already see how often G2 likes to play through him, whereas BDD, he's a little bit more isolated. Just look at the difference in the jungle proximity and how much more resources Caps gets as a player, and you can also see it in the CSD. BDD is much more about the lane, whereas Caps just kind of abandons farm in order to play around the map, and I think that they've been very difficult to compare, but in this situation, BDD's taken on the responsibility of trying to roam around the map a lot more. He's actually been punished pretty consistently. There was that one play down towards the bot side of the map where he ended up getting collapsed upon. There was that one play in the mid where he was working working with Clid, but it was G2 that do what they have to do, and they immediately collapsed onto Caps to keep him safe and actually turn the play in their favor. And so far on this Twisted Fate, he hasn't even been able to find huge early game advantages for Gen G, but we're entering the mid game now, and this is really where this Camille Nidalee Twisted Fate combo comes online, and we'll get to see how Gen G utilize it, because this is where G2 is able to punish Gen G so heavily in game 1.
Yeah, as soon as you start to get those mid lane towers down, as soon as you make longer lanes in the top and bottom lane, you have so much more opportunity to get in behind your opponents, to use that destiny, to use the mobility of Nidalee through the jungle, and that's what Gen G will be looking to do. Jankos is going to equalize the Dragon score here, the Ocean Drake goes down, it's another Infernal Soul, Vedi. Today is the day of Infernals, it would seem, as that will be the Dragon stacking up. But with both teams only at 1 at the 16-minute mark, it's a long way away before we get towards that Soul point.
So we can see a lot of major items now coming through as well. You already talked about the Mejai's for Caps, but he's now completed the Hextech GLP. We've got the Rod of Ages. Trinity Force is a big purchase for Rascal as well, as he hits level 11. And Wonder also already completed the Titanic Hydra a little bit earlier on, but let's see what he goes back to buy. The important thing is level 11 for Wonder, level 11, or 12 rather, for Caps. Having 2 points in those ultimates is extremely valuable, specifically for the cooldown. The ability to use it more often, the additional shielding that Wonder's going to be able to provide, the lower cooldown and more regularly that Caps is going to be able to steal those ultimates, but the same can be said for BDD. He has his ultimate up a lot more often, which means that Gen G can look to make those picks a little bit more often, and let's see where they look to make the plays. Caps has TP, he's currently in the bot side of the map. There's a bit of grouping up in the mid lane for both teams. But it looks like with no major objective, Gen G right now are just doing what they can to hold the line and protect this mid-tier 1.
And they'll be able to do it. Still was unfazed by the fact the Rift Herald was used there just a little bit earlier. Rascal working his way down here. Now, he won't be spotted out by too many wards. I think there's one just around where the Razorbeaks would be, but already they're looking for perks. The Solar Flare comes down. Mickey still has the Devour here. Cleared with a spear from long range. Teleport coming in from G2 as they try and join the fray. That's Destiny from BDD. Life a little bit overextended. The rest of his team not there to help him. Life shut down by the Jhin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth finds its mark. Clip goes golden, but he goes down as well. Caps is unstoppable, and G2 collapse on the play from Gen G.
Caps with the great predict on the flash from Clid, uses his Q over the wall so that when Clid flashes over, Caps is actually able to get the execute. He still has the Ash Arrow. He's looking for a pick, and he's found Rascal.
What is that damage from the Kingslayer and the arrow? Rascal locked out of the hook shot. Won't go down as a Chain Lash will not follow him over the wall, but G2 already coming up trumps in this game. There's the Tahm Kench trying to get onto a Ruler who uses the Blast Cone to escape the mid lane tower falls. And it was just even gold a moment ago, Vedi, and now G2 having 2,500 gold advantage.
And it's a situation where Gen G is
Rascal's going for the flank. Who's he looking for? It's got to be Perkz. Perkz still has the flash. No, the sleep goes down, and Rascal hookshot, wall dives, and dies to Jankos. The red smite, blue smite doing his work there as Jankos gets the kill. Now they're still on the chase. BDD has to flash away. Caps with 22 stacks just needs to land. A single left up to dives underneath the tower, and Clid is already down. Devour will spit Caps out, and Wonder tanking up the flurry of arrows that comes out of the Ash. G2 are going to turn and burn. Baron not even up yet.
Wow. I can't believe G2 are just consistently getting these kills, and like I just have to raise question marks around what Gen G is trying to do here. Last game we saw how you use this Twisted Fate combo. You look for this is just trying to force a fight in the mid lane. Like they're going for a 5 versus 5 here. TPs are up, Shen ultimate is up, and like BDD gets here late, but like the Camille isn't even in the fight yet, and they tried to commit so hard. And here's that predict from Caps over the wall, uses the Q, gets the predict, and is able to find that execute. But like, this isn't how you use this comp. You can't just try and force the 5v5 like that, because especially at this point in the game, we just talked about all those items that came through for G2. I felt like that they were just in a much stronger position. You need to be trying to play through the Camille on a side lane, trying to look for these targets or stragglers that are caught out of position, trying to find these collapses, maybe even try to collapse on the Shen, but just trying to force that mid 5v5, I feel like it was never really going to pan out in your favor, and the execution just kind of fell apart. So G2 just kind of took the free fight. They were able to come out on top, and Caps is just smurfing right now. He is just kind of playing with his food on this Sylas.
Having an absolutely stellar world so far as Caps. BDD has been struggling, I think we have to say. Hasn't been able to have the impact. In this matchup specifically, yeah. Hasn't been able to have the impact that he would like on these games. They look to Ruler once again. 3-3-1. Averages over a third of his team's damage in every single game. Has 2 items here. And if anyone's going to be able to carry them out of this hole, it is the guy that has been with this team the longest. Remember, Ruler, a world champion Vedius, was with Samsung, who changed to Gen G in 2017 when they beat G2 in the group stage. Ruler has been here a long, long time, and a lot of people consider him up there amongst the best AD carries in the world.
For sure, definitely. And I mean, like, we only have to look at his laning phase, and we saw how talented of a player Ruler is. Like, some of the situations that he was able to turn in his favor was just so well done. But here comes the sleep now from Jankos. Instant cleanse from Ruler.
Where did that come from?
Where did that
come from? Oh, Mikaos. Clid has Mikaos.
Oh, Clid. Okay. I thought it was life. Yeah, both.
Yeah, we both looked to life, and then we looked for the QSS. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Right, Caps now towards the bot side of the map. G2 going to look to secure the first Infernal of the game. Gen G now towards the top side, and this is a situation where they could look for a pick onto Wunder. Doesn't have flash, but BDD currently in the mid lane. So it looks like he's going to be safe for now.
But if you're Gen G, you actually get into a really tricky spot here. Because the hope would be that you can kind of split the map up, you can have Rascal pushing in the side lane, and then someone can answer Caps' pressure. But you can't right now. Like, BDD is so far behind Caps that if he ever oversteps, he's just going to get deleted. And you can see they're having to move life down towards this bottom lane as well, which leaves you undermanned on the rest of the map. Now Caps with the Destiny can join any fight he wants. His teleport is almost off cooldown as well. It becomes so hard for Gen G to pull around the map and find these picks they were looking for.
I mean, the terrifying thing about this comp, right? Like, we haven't even spoken about Mickey, but we did see how he used his ultimate to actually join the mid lane fight. And one of the cool things, and I think one of the things we don't really appreciate, is while Gen G want to try and look for picks, it's actually very difficult because of things like this, the ability to collapse very quickly, and for G2 to actually look for these same responses. So every time Gen G try to attack a side lane, G2 can actually collapse very fast.
So here's the thing, Caps doesn't have TP, it's just come off cooldown. Mickey has to go back beneath the tower. You can see Caps was walking down through that bottom lane. Destiny was popped by BDD to get to that fight, but I wonder perhaps if Gen G had a small moment, a small opportunity there to try and jump on G2.
Thinking more about it, like, I'm understanding this comp a lot more from G2, and like, I can kind of understand a little bit more why Gen G tried to force that fight in the mid lane, because, like, how do you attack the side lane? Like, there's a Shen ultimate, and there's a Tahm Kench ultimate, and Caps can just steal Destiny too. Yeah. So, like, you try to catch a pick, 3 people on a side lane. Well, G2 can have 4. And, like, you might just have to force yourself into these awkward fights, because when you want to utilize the strength of your composition, I think it heavily gets mitigated. So, you know, in the draft phase, we were kind of like trying to figure out what the goal of G2's comp was, but when we think about it a little bit more, I think actually the whole purpose of it is to shut down this Camille, Nidalee, Twisted Fate combo, and so far they've done a great job. And as you say, Caps is now strong enough where he can just go for this 1v1.
Flashes in with the Hexa Ultimatum, is going to lock Rascal down in the cage. Counter used as Wunder comes in with the Stand United. That's already 1 kill to G2. Rascal unable to get away, and now 5 members strong. G2 could look to push in. This is Cannon Wave, only Ruler cleared life here. BDD does have TP, he's going to back first, but this Inhibitor Tower might be forfeit for the time it takes Gen G to get back on the map. Inhibitor Tower goes down, Perk stepping forward once again. BDD locking in the gold card, looking for a man to catch. The Inhibitor Tower does fall as G2 decide to back away.
You know, we talked about looking for picks on a side lane. That was a good one from Caps. Looking to punish Rascal down towards the bot side of the map. Didn't even have an opportunity to flash because he was locked down by his own ultimate. Yep. And 25 stacks on the Medjais. Here we go, the curtain call comes through.
They're trying to burn Ruler's flash here, but he can just step behind Clid and Life. Didn't find the mark. Swellsuit only hits onto Clid, but look at the damage from Perkz. The Seep's going to come out. BDD on the backside of this fight. The Devour used onto Perkz. He's going to have to try and get away because here comes Rascal. No ultimate on the Camille, but Mickey the first target. Using the thick skin trying to survive. He manages to, even through the Ignite. Now Life is down and Jankos stepping forward. The Sleep's already been used, but Ruler being chased off. The arrow goes wide. Almost sniped by his own shot there, but couldn't quite hit it. BDD torn it underneath the towers. Wunder flashes forward. Perkz goes in with the final shot, and it will find its mark. 2 quick kills to G2.
Another big team fight that goes in G2's favor, and they're only going to continue to snowball the gold lead. And it was another situation for Gen G. It just felt like desperation. They're running out of options, they're running out of time, and they tried to force that fight, and G2 just so quickly collapse and turn it in their favor. They're going to continue to extend the goal lead. Not going to go for the Baron, though. Feel like it's a little too risky at this point in the game. Instead, just going to catch waves, look to reset. They may even catch Rascal out here.
Rascal underneath the tower. Watch out as Clid comes in as well, but Rascal's actually almost dead as Perkz just steps forward. Like, That was just bad from Rascal. You're greeding for a single tower. That's 40 seconds that your team doesn't have you, and now the Baron very much on the menu for G2.
Certainly is, Medic. That's a good call there. Rascal, with the huge mistake, ends up getting punished. Klidge tries to defend him. And now G2 can quite easily set up for this objective. They have more than enough damage. Caps is going to be the bodyguard as he looks for a pick onto BDD.
2 levels up.
He will be spotted out, but what a monster performance from the man in the mid lane as G2 look to continue this snowball. I'm kind of just like, I'm thinking more about it. I'm really impressed with the preparation that G2 have come in because, you know, again, when we looked at that draft, we were like, wow, G2 just going to give it over. They're just going to give away what they played so well in game 1, but it feels like that they came in well prepared, they had a very good answer, and like, let's just look at this fight. So it's Gen G that collapsed first, but the Tahm Kench mitigates the pick potential. Tahm Kench is also tanking up a lot, and then one is able to join. Oh, hang on.
Mick has been caught out. BDD going on the chase. They want to wonder. Jankos trying to join the fray as Caps not able to join this fight yet. You can see Jankos almost down. Life on the front lines. Going to get slept, but he can use the Gargoyle Stoneplate to heal himself back up. Now it's a great fight for Gen G as they push forward, but the Solar Flap finds 3 on the backline is a double for Caps, and the curtains have opened. And perhaps this is the encore that Perkz was looking for. BDD sniped down, a triple for Caps. Add more pages to the book as the Medjay Soul Stealer is all the way up to 25.
I think that was a Leona ultimate, but with all the AP of a
Yes, it was! The power of 1,000 suns!
And Caps just blows up the backline. Wow, okay, so what was a terrible fight for G2 ends up being swung off the back of Caps' beautiful play there. The Death Cap coming in clutch, and like you can see that Gen G, I understand more why they're trying to go for these fights. Like you can
and the start of that fight was so good.
Yeah, and they're able to get that pick onto Mickey, and when we get the replay, we'll be able to see like he was caught out of position, and then like let's keep a track of Caps here. So he steals away the Leona ultimate. He's going to throw it onto the backline. Look at the damage! He takes half the HP off of 3 members. He even gets a kill off the back of it, and then that's immediately all that they needed. Oh, wow, I have not seen that before. But yeah, late game Sylas.
Yep. And now with this Red Bull Baron power play, G2 continue to take down structures. Solar Flare is going to hit on towards the backline. That's Perkz caught out, but you can see Life almost down before you can even get out of the fight. Ignite ticking on Caps, uses the stopwatch to dodge the spear. He's going to come back up, and with the ammo, oh my god! Oh, that is disgusting! That is the most illegal ammo I have ever seen. Klid dives in, Rascal dives in, but they're already done, and Caps is still alive, and he's almost back up to full HP. Ruler, the last man standing, and what a fated end it is for Gen G as he goes down. Another triple for Caps, and G2, against their own composition, slap it right back in Gen G's face. This has been once again a demolition from the LEC #1 seed as they go 2-0 up versus Gen G.
Claps is here to play, Medic, and what a fantastic game 2 from him. Really showcasing the strength of this Sylas and why it can be such an effective pick into the Twisted Fate. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more from the analyst desks so that we can get a little bit more insight on these drafts, because like again, I think that the response was extremely well done from G2, the way in which they answered. And like, you know, I was questioning, like, why are Gen G trying to force these 5v5s? Why are they going for them? But it felt like that Gen G recognized much earlier than I did the situation that they were in, and the only way they could actually turn this game around was off the back of that. And again, like, we're seeing such good laning from the side of Gen G, but it's really not being converted into a lot in the mid game. And I feel like the traditionally, they would get a lot of these good fights around the dragons, but like we haven't seen a dragon fight like once in this whole series. So many of them are happening in the side lanes, in the mid lane, around things like towers, picks. Like,
I mean, you compare this to yesterday's series where we saw front-to-back 5v5s at least twice a game. Like, it was so consistent. Here, we are just never seeing them. It's all picks, it's all skirmishes. Maybe that mid-lane fight, you could count it as a 5v5, but it's really not the way that G2 and Gen G are playing. But while we wait for Game 3, listen to KDA's Pop Stars from Spotify's official League of Legends playlist during our Spotify song break.
I'm a goddess with a blaze. 소리처럼 나 이름 잊지 못하게. back to the LEC interview studio here in Berlin. Laure, joined by Lucy. And Lucy, for those who don't know her, she is the LEC Scout Analyst for G2 Esports. Thank you very much for joining me. It's so nice to see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to see you again.
So, for those who don't know your job at G2, can you explain a bit what is a Scout Analyst, please?
So I'm basically responsible for preparing the team for the opponents that we'll be playing against, so that the players know the tendencies that the team play against, and basically just have an idea of what they're playing against, so they have no surprises and they can dictate what map movements they will do.
All right. Well, I know that usually on socials you're very passionate or vocal about your team's performances, whether they succeed or run it down. So since the beginning of World Championship, how do you think about G2?
I think we had our very clear G2 moments. We had some good moments and some moments where we kind of run it down. But I guess that's expected when watching us. You know, we give our fans a bigger heart attack and anxiety attacks when watching us. But overall, I think that we are improving very well as a team during Worlds, and I'm very happy with the performance that we are showing.
How is it for you so far? Because I know the year has been strange as a whole, but I mean, you're also helping the team remotely here. So how does this work exactly?
Yeah, so I'm incapable of watching any of the scrim games because obviously they're in China and it's very different time zone. So most of my work and communication of how the team are doing in China kind of goes through Doffman. So I know that what we're doing well, what isn't going well in scrims, and so where to focus my scouting for the team and for the next opponents.
Okay. Now thinking about Gen.G, it looks like it's an easy series so far from you guys, but we'll see about the last game. But okay, talking about the draft here, you went in a totally different direction because Gen.G went with Camille first pick, which means that you went for Lilia and Shen. So you actually led them the first 3 pick that you had for game 1. Can you explain maybe the reasoning behind this?
Yes, so they basically did copy our game 1 draft. At least the top side. But I think that we had a very good answer to it. I think Shen into Camille was something that we played in LEC quite often. And we think that Lilia is probably a higher prior than Nidalee in this meta. And Sylas is obviously a good pick into TF because you can steal the TF ult. So it's a very good sort of counter to what they try to do. Because when Camille will try to go into side lane, Shen can ult into the team fight on the other side of the map. And likewise, if you match Sylas into TF, then Sylas can steal the TF ult and then join the fight as well. So you'd always have sort of the same number or a number advantage when fighting.
And it played out so well for you. I mean, Caps, this game, what did you think about his performance? It was insane.
I think Caps is definitely in his element. You know, when he buys Medjais and he manages to stack it to 25, he is for sure in his comfort zone. He even tried to go for the 2 dark steals at the start, so it just really shows he's really comfortable on this champion and just in general in this series.
I mean, the whole team feels on the same phase here. Do you have any expectations for the last game, and at least the 3rd game, because we don't know if it's going to be the last one?
Yeah, I don't want to see a repeat of yesterday. So I think I don't want the guys to get cocky. I don't want them to get ahead of themselves. I still want them to respect the enemy and what they are able to do. But I do think that we have shown to sort of counter everything that they have to show. So I think we're in a very good spot right now, but you never know what Gen.G are going to throw in last second.
Yeah. We'll see that in a few minutes, but Lucy, thank you so much for all these insights, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll see in a couple moments if G2 can close out the series against Gen.G. Stay tuned.
was the most disgusting ultimate.
But look at him! He's still alive! He's still surviving!
To me, this play is all about mechanical execution.
Prey turning it back in! The chase! The resonating strike!
This is one of my absolute all-time favorite moments.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. Taking on Su Ning, Team Liquid knew they would have to strike early, and level 1 seemed like the right time.
Finding the level 1 advantage in the end. SOFM happy with the trade for experience. If he takes his red buff, though, it's disastrous. Still, though, Jin's gonna walk forward. SOFM getting just a little bit greasy. Phase Rush Brox zooming in and out, trying to find a way back into this one. Gold card going down. Who's gonna get it? Brox is still level 1. It's ticking. Brox gets it. That's level 2 now coming in. But it's Tom Catch to the backside, and it's absolute chaos. TL fighting with everything they have. It's back and forth. Another gold card. Sword Art walking forward. Hong Feng back on the way in. TL, they've bitten off more than they can chew, and they're getting run down. They need to make it out as fast as they can. Run for the hills, TL. You bet it.
What are you willing to lose? You cover your wounds, but underneath there.
This is Bandit. Sometimes his food and toys are ordered online, but today he's going to Tractor Supply. He'll find the brands he loves at everyday low prices. Going to the store sure has its perks. At Tractor Supply.
And now you're playing with matches. Come out of the ashes underneath you. A million voices in the crowd. They're screaming, stop now. Well, let them swallow the pride. You're turning the tide to true believers. Got them in the palm of your hand. You're playing God now. What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly. Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Don't bury your teammates, then tear down the ceiling. Phoenix fly. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly. Phoenix.
Just kidding.
Serve Worlds 2020, and today, through OppoCam, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of our XR technology. We wanted something that would be very special for not just the audience, but for the pros themselves. Given all the complexities around travel and everything with COVID, we couldn't guarantee that we could bring people together with a live audience. And so what we wanted to do was develop a broadcast experience that would let us take the stage anywhere that we wanted. So during the show, when the pro players and coaches and referees are all on stage, they're seeing something slightly different than what the broadcast audience sees. The broadcast audience is seeing the active perspective. What the pro players are seeing is almost like smears of color. It creates a very real sense of place for the pro players, so they do feel like they're on stage, they do feel like they're at Worlds, and they do have a sense of the environment interacting around them. Rather than doing the final in XR, we're going to do the thing that we love most, which is a live show. We'll have some of the largest LED screens that we've ever brought to a World Final. There's going to be a large gateway that's over 32 meters tall, and most exciting, we have a significant amount of augmented reality to bring KDA to life and some other very exciting things that I hope people enjoy. Thanks everyone, that's all for today. I hope you're all looking forward to the final stage, and I really hope that you'll be surprised.
Oh, that is so cool. A little bit of a teaser for what we're about to see and also what the stage looks like in Chang'an. We got a behind the scenes look at the technology that is powering the set design behind Worlds this year. Thank you to our friends at Oppo and their Find X2 camera for that. Now let's turn our attention to the draft for Game 3. No monologue this time. You can sit back down. However, we are going to switch it up a little bit because we have someone right here who drafted against Gen.G in the LCK as well as against G2 in the past. Yeah. And Kadril, who is usually at the mercy of his coach, you know, so now he gets to play master himself. So what are our focuses going into this third draft, reminding us that we saw these three twice on either side of the matchup?
Like for me, the key thing is Gen.G have shown a complete inability to play on side lane. Against this, you can't do that. With it, you can't do that. So just remove it. Just remove the Twisted Fate. Remove the Camille. Don't play it, because I think it just comes down to team fights for Gen.G.
Yeah, I think BDD on Mage is much better than on a TF. You saw it. I don't know if it was uncomfortable, but he didn't find any real good plays with Rascal and the Camille, and I just think that Rascal with the Nidalee Renekton with Clid did look pretty good in the group stage, but Renekton's being banned out, there's not much answers, and I think that they should ban it out and just try to find something else that works for them.
They will be on red side for this game, but we have to talk about the elephant in the room and on the Rift. Caps is smurfing on these games, and I think it's one of these cases where you don't really get anything about trying to ban him out completely, right? It is all about finding the different solutions for your team. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this guy has a champion Ocean, and I feel like he's definitely on point. We haven't seen too much craps, we're just seeing claps only. And I think that the answer they had into the TF was actually really strong. They did draft quite a heavy AP topside on the side of G2, but it looked like it worked, but we are getting into draft now, and set ban straight away.
Yeah, the set ban I like a lot because it's a life classic on the bot lane. I think anything that makes bot lane less explosive is good for them. I think the Tahm Kench was beautiful into the other champions, and I think Kalista ban is also good. Anything that just calms the bottom side down.
And I think the thing I like about the Kalista ban is they initially played Kalista on blue side, so counterpicking support's a lot harder. This time they ban it on the red side, so they know if they want to the Kalista, they can get counterpick support as well. Could really affect the bot lane. But Lilia being banned out kind of raises up the Graves Nidalee prio. If both of those are banned out, then it's looking at something like a Kindred.
What is the biggest prio here when you look at kind of overarching trends? Because it looks like the bot lane, G2 are fine giving Ruler things that he's comfortable on regardless, and that kind of becomes a non-factor in terms of draft at least.
Yeah, I think the current bot meta is kind of docile. It's with the Ashe and the Senna and the Ezreal. You don't have those hyper carries. You're not going to see Ruler bust out like a Twitch that makes like, oh, he's on a timer, he's going to scale. It's just, it's tough to force those crazy matchups.
Yeah, and that's the Graves first pick. With Lilia and Nidalee being down, it's a bit OP. I think AP jungler is what counts as Graves right now, so we'll have to see what Clid wants to pull out. Does he want to pull out something like the Kindred, which we saw a lot in yesterday's series, but I'm looking at the ADs here. I think Jhin has looked pretty strong in this series.
Perkz has also looked very good on Jhin. We had some question marks about the bot lane, I think in general, comparatively to Gen.G, but that's not been an issue.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, Jhin is something that is always going to be useful, and Gen.G decided to continue with the path of Twisted Fate. I guess they're just too afraid to give it up, and they felt like the Ornn ban needed to happen. I'm kind of curious why the Ornn ban happens, because if Ornn is up there, it means the top lane is just an island, and you can play into that bottom side, your strength.
So I think two things that might happen here. I mean, Caps can always respond with the Sylas, which I think is really good. The Ornn ban, I think the only reason I can see behind it is they want to play a carry top like the Renekton, like the Camille, and shutting down an Ornn and diving him is a lot harder than having a skill matchup in top. So I think we're definitely looking at the Renekton 3-pick or a Camille 3-pick here. The Kindred does get locked in, and there's the Jhin from Perkz. So they want to run the Sylas? Yes, they do. They're running it back. They have the Graves this time around, so Genji, if they do pick their top laner here, they're playing its top side. Ruler will get banned out a bit with the Side of Life. We're looking at Ashe, Senna, Ezreal for Ruler here now. But I think picking something like a really strong split pushing top here would be good.
I think the key thing here for Genji is just how do they want to approach the whole Camille situation? Will they ban out the Shen to prepare for the Camille, maybe force a Camille ban, or remove Camille, Renekton, the good blind picks, and set up for a fifth pick? Or they just go the other route completely and they just go for the super fifth pick. But I think with Life's champion pool, looking for maybe a Pantheon or something of the kind, I think is also a good approach.
What I found interesting so far in the series is that it seemed like in Game 2 you think, oh, this is a great comp from the side of Genji, and now you would also say it's going in the right direction, but because of the experience that we have from those previous 2 games and kind of the tape, we do want to see something different. So with the Kindred now and the Ezreal, are you seeing something different that should be enough or not, Yamato?
I'm not sure. I feel like Kindred and Ezreal fit that gear and are decent into the Sylas because he wants to, of course, commit, and Kindred love those situations. It's just a question of Twisted Fate. Sylas did so well into it the last time, and Twisted Fate forces a situation where they need to make plays on side. I imagine Genji doing well where they just play around those dragons, similar to the first game, where eventually they get on Soul Point and they force G2 to skirmish in 5v5s.
Yeah, and I think the 2 adaptations I like from Genji here is, first of all, you're playing an 80 AP mid-jungle mixed damage into the Sylas. Playing double AP into Sylas, Murktread's first item, it's really difficult to shut him down. And I also like the Pantheon ban, you know, shutting down the globals. If Caps was to take away the TF ult, they had the Pantheon ult on top of that, and Mikyx's Pantheon in Game 1 looked super, super good.
I think the question mark for me here is just I want G2 to pick a ranged top lane. You want to pick as many ranged champions into the Kindred as possible, but the other flip side of that is tough to play that into Twisted Fate. Like imagine a Kennen is something that I would have loved, but the Sion matchup makes the top matchup really good for them. They could just lock in Shen here.
But I just don't think the Sion is what you need here. If you're going to play TF, you're playing over sides. If you're playing a 1-4 comp with TF, it doesn't make much sense.
And Ezreal's bot.
Exactly, and Ezreal's bot, so you don't have too much playmaking. I like this adaptation slightly more. I don't think Ezreal Tam is that good of a lane. They're going to get a really good counter pick on support here. But Wunder's going to have to blind, so maybe he's the one who picks up the Sion, because something defensive into the TF means you can't shut him down. But I think the Tam Kench is good because you have the Tam ult now, you have the TF ult now. You have to round that out with some kind of split pushing damage.
And we have to just see if they can use their globals as effectively as G2 has in the past, because as you say, Yamato, the map movements, the play on the lanes, as well as adjusting to what's happening on the map is what we want to see out of Genji. Oof. And they've got a couple of tools there, and their Renekton comes out.
And I wonder if the Volibear is going to come out. It's the most common response to Renekton. I like the fact that Wunder is showing he's the alpha here. I'm taking the Renekton. You can pick the TF. We're going to play into top side. So yeah, the Volibear response is the most likely thing to come out.
Yeah, Rascal has picked it up a couple of times in group stage as well. Very comfortable on the champion, and especially in this matchup. We've got the comps rounded out and some different looks coming out of both sides. Yamato, what is your final judgment on the draft on both sides?
Honestly, I like what Genji brought to the table. I think with the Twisted Fate and the Kindred, I think locking in Sylas and Renekton gives those champions like Kindred so much value. I think G2 really need to be the ones engaging into an Ezreal TF Kindred, which is going to be super hard in the 5v5s. And I think the idea of the game is very streamlined, just playing to the top side, which I like less. But Ruler, his Ezreal is very, very good. I think this is the best Genji draft we saw so far.
I think Genji swapped it up. They're not playing it to bot anymore. They have Ezreal Tam. That's a very safe farming lane. I think playing it to top side is what you're looking at here. I think the Volibear does win into the Renekton, especially with the TF ult. So if G2 don't find a way to shut this down, or they don't really find a way to win the 3v3 top side, I think they're going to struggle, and Genji could pick up this game.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We can also not forget that this is match point for G2. Only one win needed, but we learned yesterday that that isn't always enough. Genji stepping onto the Rift with a strong draft and big chances in this game. We're going to see the coaches. Oh, it was fist bump this time. I love it. A little bit of a change in the meta there for the coaches. And with that, yeah, is anyone going to do a joke where they try and fall in the water? I hope so. Anyway, the teams are loading onto the Rift, so let's send it over to Medic and Vedius for Game 3.
Thank you very much, Shox. Possibly the final game of Worlds quarterfinals, Vedius. Very different compositions from both teams here, as Yamato said. It feels like Genji are deciding to leave Ruler a little bit more alone in this game and play towards the top side of the map instead.
I mean, I think you can. What we've seen from Ruler and Life in these early game 2v2s is that they've been quite good. So I think that just giving them the freedom to be a little bit more on the weak side, like playing a little bit more defensively. We'll see how they manage. This is a very defensive bot lane. You know, Ezreal plus the Tahm Kench, obviously a very difficult one to kill. And I love what the analyst desk was saying. I think that for Genji, it's kind of like, okay, so they have the ability to play through topside, which, to be fair, they did a fair amount during the group stage, and they've also been very good at. I think the Rascal is Strong towards the top side. I'm having a look right
Okay,
now.
no, Mickey's jumped the wall. Mickey's jumped the wall. We used to see Fnatic do this all the time. Hylissang, he sneaks behind people. BDD won't have heard that sound that we heard as Mickey jumped over the wall, and now Mickey can just flank over there, wait for the W cooldown. It will be about 3 seconds off now, I think. Played a bunch of it card last night in Clash, so here he goes. They're gonna step forward, immediately forces the flash out of BDD.
That's 3 different level 1s we've now seen from G2, and 3 different flashes that they've burnt. In game 1, it was Rascal. In game 2, it was Life. And now in game 3, it is BDD. So, good stuff from G2. I love all this level 1 innovation that we have been seeing. And it's going to pay off because the fact that you lose your flash this early on leaves you very susceptible to ganks. While Grey is not considered the strongest ganking jungler, the great thing about Sylas is you do have good setup with your E, so we'll have to see how things pan out.
I saw yesterday Nemesis lose his flash early on the Twisted Fate in game 5, and he was repeat ganked. Died 3 times, I think, before the 15-minute mark in this game. Jankos has the opportunity to try and put BDD behind. But BDD, he showed us in game 1 just how safe he can play, how much he respects where the enemy jungler can be. He will be pretty wary of stepping up towards Caps and Jankos.
Let's follow the junglers now very quickly because you can see that Klid's immediately moving over towards the enemy blue. They put a very early ward there to see where Jankos was starting. The question is, will Jankos read the play? He's actually going to start up his wolves, so he's going to have no idea that this is happening. And Klid should be able to walk away with this one completely free. Jankos going to be caught with his pants down there, not going to realize that that still has happened. Klid may even go for a bit of a cheeky play here.
He's got the advantage. Smite came down. It was secured by Jankos. You can see because he's on 12 CS. Klid forced away just a little bit, but Wolf will make a Jankos have to retreat out of his jungle. Now Klid can steal away the Gromp. Ruler diving forward has used that E, but no level 2 for G2's bot lane means they cannot answer the pressure of Ruler dashing in. Jankos coming all the way around for the Gromp. Doesn't have his smite, but nor does Klid. Klid quite low. Wonder working his way down from the top lane, and as the Gromp resets, Jankos will be happy to get it, but sad that it ran out of patience.
Jankos also going to lose his blue buff. But overall, Gen G off to a very good start in the laning phase. Early level 2 in the bot lane. You can see the BDD has reclaimed some pressure because of the range advantage he does have over Caps. And Klid is going to be able to triple buff Jankos as well. So all in all, good stuff for Gen G, but this should come as no surprise. I think that we've seen pretty much consistently throughout this series, their early laning phase has been the better of the 2 teams. The problem is they haven't really been able to convert this into a significant advantage come the mid-game, and even with these small leads that they accrue, they don't really snowball off the back of them. So we'll have to see once BDD hits level 6, will he look for a play somewhere on the map?
Bit unfortunate for Klid as well that the mark spawned on the top Scuttle Crab instead of the bottom Scuttle Crab, so he's not off to the races in terms of those Kindred marks. Of course, 4 gets you that extra 75 attack range. Makes you just so much more powerful on that champion. Caps working his way up towards top lane. Rascal giving Wonder a little bit of respect, backing away, trying to use the E to clear out the minions, and looks like Jankos just going to settle to take away these Krugs, and Caps, he's kind of hovering. He's working out if he wants to go back towards mid as the wave gets pushed in. He will go and catch those minions, but Rascal has spotted out Jankos. Jankos doesn't have Smite. Gonna look to take these Krugs. Rascal with the Thundering Roar could get the stun, but just forces Jankos away from the Krugs and will take them for himself.
He knows that a wave is pushing in towards top side. There's no point trying to contest that wave for the time being, so you're better off just getting that last bit of farm and then going to go catch the wave top. This will give Wonder the opportunity to do a very quick base. He won't have to expend his TP. He can actually just walk back to lane. But look at Kindred. Ooh, I thought that he may be looking for a bit of a play towards bot side because... So the thing is, Klid knew that Jankos was top side, which means that because he's already here, the delayed reset was going to come through. But he decided to not commit to that play, and for now, Jankos actually has a bit of a level advantage over Klid.
Just farming up those small camps as soon as they respawn. He's on his Razor Beaks, but's been spotted out on a ward. We are getting towards that level 6 mark that you talked about, Vedius. BDD 5 at the moment. Life going in. Here's the TB, and Life maybe overstep, flashes away, but the teleport coming in from Gaps looks for the chase. Dives forward, can't quite get the damage. The thick skin comes out from Life, but Life hit with a dancing grenade, and G2 are dancing all the way to the bank with that kill.
The level 5 teleport from Caps into bot lane. You don't expect that. It feels like that it was quite the bait coming out from G2, because I was curious as to why Perkz was backing when he still had 1 health pot left. I thought that, you know, he could probably stick around in lane for a little bit longer. I think he actually needed a little bit more gold for that BF sword, but maybe it was a bait, maybe it wasn't. I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is that he was recalling on a ward, and Life wanted to try and interrupt, and then that was just call for the opportunity for G2 to commit to that play. Caps isn't going to lose much off the back of it, except for a bit of farm, and now Jankos has found Clid.
Trading onto Clid, Rascal's worked his way down here as well. Jankos does have flash, may have to use it across this wall as Caps dives onto BDD. Level 6 for Caps, only level 5 for the mid laner from Gen G as G2 step back into the mid lane. Gen G going to retreat, push their way back. Life, of course, no flash as he burned it earlier on. Just going to stay near Clid to try and re-secure some of this jungle, but G2 are stepping in and will take the Razor Beaks for their own.
So this is some of the good and common jungle support synergy that we often see from G2. Mickey now roaming with Caps, already looking for a dive in the top lane. Twisted Fate ult to answer.
Destiny coming out, TP as well. Gen G going to get dived underneath the tower. Rascal's already down, Mickey takes the kill, but Life is here, Clid is here. Wonder trying to get away. It's a 3v2 in favor of G2 right now, but Gen G are answering back. Mickey stunned up. We'll have the battle dance. Still stunned with the gold card. BDD on the chase. Gen G still trying to push forward here as they TP in. Caps dives back into the fight. Life eats up Clid. Wonder's going to flash away. Slice and Dice won't get him the range that he needs, and Rascal's actually looking for both of them at the same time. The stun card connects onto Wonder, and Gen G will get a kill.
So what surprises me is that G2 were able to get away with what they did. They only end up losing one member there, but think about what that cost them. BDD had to use his teleport. I think Ruler even... Did he burn his flash in that play, or was that in the play in the bot lane? Because for some reason he does not have his flash, and I don't remember him burning it. In any case, like, the fact that so much was expended and G2 end up getting a 1-for-1 overall, I think G2's pretty happy with that. And now they're still looking for Clid. Caps is not done with his roams.
Clid actually still only level 4 on this Kindred. Was able to get an assist in that last fight. You can see he's only a single jungle item. They go for the dive early on.
And I love that he steals away the Volibear ultimate to make this dive that much easier. And I think that G2's thinking they can actually turn this. And if it weren't for the TP here from BDD, I think G2 would have committed to the fight. But BDD does join. Mickey then flashes, uses his E, uses the second E, and then looks like they're going to re-engage because he's only level 4. But this is then the power of the Tahm Kench keeping the Kindred alive, which buys enough time for Rascal to join the fray. But expending both ultimates to just get a single kill on the top side, I think is a lot invested, which then makes things easier for G2 in the bot side of the map.
So the reason BDD had to teleport to that play was because he destinied bot lane, and they were trying to kill Perkz. Ruler flashed forward, Perkz healed and didn't die. So that's where the investment went.
I did wonder why he didn't actually use it top lane. Yes.
He went down towards the bottom lane. Jankos now has a flank position, level 6. Gen G, a little bit underneath their tower.
So we just talked about it. No teleports, no Destiny.
That control ward was outside of the bush, so they don't know that Jankos is waiting, and Caps comes in with a Destiny of his own. He has a date with the semi-finals, and G2 take 2 in the bottom lane.
Oh my word, G2 using BDD's ult against him, being able to set up that dive, and it's just a good punish. Because we talked already about the lack of teleports. Gen G can't respond to this play. The only thing Gen G can do is sack that farm, and they decided not to do it. They can't respond. G2 sent 5 people bot lane, and sure, Caps is down like 20 CS. He is behind in experience, but the benefits that his team are getting off the back of these roams is just huge for G2.
I mean, you just have to look at his performance in the first game as well. Had such a stellar, in the second game, sorry, such a stellar performance on that side. So now that control ward is not in the bush, Vedius.
You talked about it, Medic. He does not spot him out. I think the TP from Wonder wasn't really necessary, but hey, he wants to get involved in the action as well. I think he also recognizes that he is on the weak side of the map, so why not invest the TP under the risk of potentially getting dived? Is able to avoid it. It means the G2 now get themselves to a 2k gold advantage.
Gen G will secure the Rift Herald in the top side of the map. They are trading sides of the map with G2. As the Dragon was taken by G2, it's only a mountain. 2,000 gold lead, though, for the LEC representatives. Ruler and Life have switched their way back up to this top lane. Life is actually a little bit behind in this lane. Now, he has been dived a couple of times by G2, which will cost you a little bit, but even in the previous games, you know, he was getting a CS lead or getting a few kills, and you could kind of rely on Ruler to be a carry in the later portion of the game. Here, this Ezreal is going to take just that little bit more time to scale up.
Yes, he certainly is, Medic. You just look at the difference in itemization between the two AD carries. Perkz already well on his way to the Stormraze, and now G2 found another skirmish.
Here's the Destiny though, and Jankos and Wonder need to get out of this because the stun card from BDD locks up Wonder. The Dominus has been popped. Clit still has the Lamb's Respite, and now Gen G are going to turn onto Jankos, who tries to dash away. Caps coming in. Stun card once again from BDD. The Stormbringer comes down onto the base of Jankos, and that's 2 quick kills for Gen G. They're looking for more of his. Caps tries to trade in a 3v1. He's stolen away a Lamb's Respite of his own. Will pop it down immediately, but look at the healing this is giving over to Gen G as well. Caps in a 1v3 can do nothing. Gen G find 3 in the bottom river.
And this was a much needed skirmish for Gen G. They needed to slow down the snowball that G2 was starting to mount. They get a huge punish in the river, and BDD is able to get a good ultimate off on the Twisted Fate. Huge punish, they're going to close the gold gap. Clit is going to get a mark. He's finally going to hit level 7. And this is a big deal for Gen G.
Yeah, BDD now 3-0-1 on this Twisted Fate. The Rod of Ages will be complete when he backs, and you can see Gen G are very ready to take the fight against G2.
So in the 2 versus 2, this is actually fine. But of course, it's not a 2 versus 2, it's a 3 versus 2 because of the good ultimate there from BDD. And I think that what they wanted to do was force Clit to use his ultimate so that there's enough time for Caps to join the fray, but they weren't able to make it happen, and Rascal walks away with his life. He's also going to get a bit of health back. Very well done from the Gen G trio.
Keeps that gold within about 500 between the two teams. Wonder's going to tank up a couple of tower shots in the bottom lane as he walks away from this wave. The plates still very much on the menu for the next 2 minutes here, Vedia. So if Wonder decides against pushing in, doesn't know where Clit is, doesn't know where Rascal is, so doesn't want to overstep, and BDD's Destiny is actually almost half the way off cooldown, over half the way off cooldown, Vedius.
I was just about to mention that Mickey just upgraded his support item, and I noticed that Life hadn't yet, so I thought we were going to see a big vision difference there, but fortunately for Life, just as he's resetting, was able to get that upgrade as well, which means that both supports on the map. And now we should expect to see a lot more roaming from both Mickey and Life. We already saw them getting involved in the action. You can see that the kill participation for Mickey is 4 out of 4, so he's been very important in setting up a lot of these plays for the team. But let's see where he looks to set up his vision. Right now, it's the top side for G2.
And you get to this point of the game sometimes, Vedius, it's like, well, there's no Rift Herald, there's no Dragon, there are plates to play around, but do you really need to be looking for a fight at this point as either of these two teams?
Well, if you're G2, probably.
Oh yeah, because I mean, they just enjoy fighting, but like, is there something that they should be fighting over specifically?
Well, so I think that if you can get more plates, as you mentioned, like, yes, but I think the bigger thing is actually enemy jungle vision control. And I was just about to bring up this red buff that's on our screen, because denying enemy farm, denying enemy experience is very important. So we see a bit of a skirmish on top there. Jankos is getting out, though.
Jankos is out, Perkz on his way as well, has to flash away. BDD pot the Ghost, gets the stun card onto Mickey, and here comes the Abyssal Voyage. Life and Clit on the chase for Perkz here. He uses heal to try and get the extra movement speed. True Shot Barrage is going to connect, but not too much more damage. Mickey dances over the wall, and in the end, G2 get out, but Gen G are the ones to chase them out of there.
I like the response here from Gen G. They recognized what G2 was trying to do, and they shut them down. No red buff will be lost. No camps will be stolen, and they were even able to get a bunch of plates. So Gen G doing a great job of slowing down the aggression. G2 were at a 2k gold advantage, and Gen G have been able to bring it back to equal. And BDD on this Twisted Fate having a much better performance. Game 1 he wasn't really, or Game 2 rather, he wasn't really able to have much impact on this Twisted Fate, but getting involved in that river fight, countering this player towards the top side, you could feel that Twisted Fate being much more impactful.
Very experienced player, BDD, of course, and as you say, now he's got the Sheen, the Rod of Ages stacking up. They're looking to get into these side lanes and really help Gen G get back into this series, because they're currently 2-0 down. Last time they came to Worlds in 2018, Vedius, it was a dire performance for them. 1-5 in the group stages. Ruler may be caught out here. Mickey does have the quickness, but and Ezreal is a very difficult target to lock down. And Gen G, I think, topping their group was a degree of redemption for this organization. And now the question is, like, a loss to G2 in a quick 3-0 would feel pretty demoralizing, I think. But maybe if they can start fighting back, then they can make their way back towards the finals. The organization, world champions twice, finalists once. And every time they've made it out of groups, they've made it to the finals, Vedi.
Yeah. However, Jankos also has a bit of a legacy of his own. Every time he has gone to Worlds, the lowest he's gotten is a semi-finals. You know, 2 semi-finals, 1 World Final. Internationally, Jankos has quite the record, and 1 one of those records is going to be broken today. Right now, G2 is, of course, set up for success. But we've seen reverse sweeps before. One, but we saw it.
I mean, I closed my eyes a lot at the end, to be honest.
But we'll see how Gen.G are able to bounce back. If they can, of course, the game is very even. They've done a great job. And right now, they're kind of getting that Drake fight that they've wanted for this whole series. G2 has had a habit of just trading on the other side of the map. They've not really gone for it, and they've avoided fighting Gen.G as much as possible, but might not get that opportunity. Is
Goldcard coming out with the charm, unable to find BDD. Clid now diving in, he's charmed immediately. Lamb's Bite comes down just in time. Clid able to save his life. BDD going in with the Sun Card once again onto Jankos, but Clid, look how low he is. Wonder slices and dices up Gen.G. 2 quick kills to G2, and Rascal is running for the hills, but the Stormbringer is brought down.
And it's Clid that gets caught out, and at the moment it looks like he's about to get away. The Crocodile comes in from down south and tears them apart. Caps almost loses his life, but he is dancing on the edge of death as Ruler is looking to get something back for Gen.G. That gold lead once again mounts for G2. They'll secure the second Drake. They'll secure the mid-tier 1. And G2 are looking to continue that title of being the LCK killers. 3k gold lead now, looking to 3-0. Still a long way left to end out this game, but they are looking dominant.
12-6 all time before this series versus LCK teams. Now 14-6, looking to make it 15.
So here, Clid coming in from the flank. The last tick of the charm from Mickey catches Clid out, and then the positioning of BDD is very awkward. He realizes the Rascal's coming in, but this is the important part. Wonder on the flank. Like, Gen.G were just uncoordinated, and huge props to Mickey for finding
Clid's out again.
Clid is caught once more. Caps gets himself some more pages in the book, and Gen.G is starting to fall apart, Medic. They're getting caught left, right, and center. These team fights are not coming the way that they want them, and Mickey,
who's looking for the chase, can just dance back to Caps here. I will say, anyone else who goes to the library that Caps frequents will be very sad, because he keeps loaning out this darn book,
yes,
Venius.
He does.
Week after week, he's getting it. 8 pages in it this time. The Rift Herald available for G2 if they want to play around this top side of the map. And we did talk about, you know, BDD and Ruler's pedigree and Jankos' pedigree. Caps, he's on track to make his 3rd consecutive World Finals. Made it with Fnatic in 2018, made it with G2 in 2019. Of course, he would have to go through Damwon in the semi-finals still, but he would join only 3 other players on that record. Faker, Bang, and Wolf.
Yep.
What company to be in?
Caps. I think it's pretty interesting when you think about Caps as a player and how he's kind of in that conversation for the best Western player of all time. Like, there's often been a debate between him and Perkz, you know, in terms of their successes since they joined the league, what they've been able to achieve, but no one ever really thought that they would join together to form Europe's super team that has brought their first international title last year for MSI since Season 1 Worlds. And
I appreciate the discussion between Perkz and Caps, but when I look at it objectively, Caps won 2018 Summer Spring, went to Finals of Worlds. 2019 Summer Spring, went to Finals of Worlds. 2020 Summer and Spring. He has been in the league for 4 years, has 6 domestic titles and 2 World Championships and an MSI title under his belt. Like, he is the best Western player of all time, in my opinion.
I mean, I think it's a fair argument, Medic. Yeah, I think it's a very fair argument. And I think that he's having a very impressive series. But you also have to give credit to Perkz.
Yeah, no, he's a great player as well.
It's unfortunately for G2, they did handpick the best European players outside of perhaps Reckless, who did have a very impressive performance yesterday. Now, while there are many star players on G2, we're kind of looking at the star players now for Gen.G to really step up. Of course, Ruler is behind, but he is on one of his most well-known champions, and we've seen him carry before. Yes, they are at a deficit, but the deficit isn't so monumental that there's no way for them to come back from this. So I'm looking at players like BDD, like Ruler, and Clid needs to stop getting caught out, because twice now we've seen 2 very serious consequences that have paid off heavily in G2's favor.
Yeah, look at where you are in terms of itemization for Gen.G. You've got Rod of Ages almost fully stacked and a Lich Bane for BDD. He is very strong for this next Infernal fight in a minute and a half. Also, Ruler now has the Iceborne Gauntlet and the Manamune stacking up, so he has the ability to self-heal and also provide more zone control when they look forward for these fights. BDD stepping in.
Jankos just stole the blue there with the ultimate.
I mean, that's a little bit rude.
Yeah, that is a little bit rude, yes.
But for the moment, not going to progress any further. You can see Mickey actually very isolated here. The vision control from G2 is helping him be a little bit more aggressive than perhaps he should, because Gen G do not know that no one is behind him. But if they dived on him there, I'm pretty sure Mickey would have been an easy kill to pick up.
Well, I really like this vision that's been set up from G2, and the resets are coming through at just the right time. They know the Drake is spawning soon, they're replenishing the control wards, they're replenishing the wards for Mickey as well, and they haven't put really deep wards in, but what they've done is they've set up this trio of vision around the entrances, around the choke points, because it's really that's the only part that you care about. As they're entering towards the river, you want to find those picks at that point in time. Now that they've replenished that vision, Gen G has to invest their own vision in order to just clear this out, which gives G2 full control over the river.
Oh, Perkz caught out here as Life goes forward, Destiny coming in, Gen G have found their opportunity, but the Captain Jack from Perkz gets him out alive, and Mickey dives in with the quickness to save his AD carry. Jankos now on the front line as the Dakotas come in. Lamb's respite used by Clid, but he has been abandoned by his team. Flashes over the wall, but Wonder will slice and dice him up for dinner. G2 get another kill, and they turn their eyes towards the Dragon.
That was supposed to be a mistake. That was supposed to be Perkz getting caught out of position and Gen G's window to get back into this game. But Mickey keeps doing Mickey X things. How does he find these windows to keep his AD carry alive? The 3-man taunt onto the backline to buy time and separate Clid from his team was exactly what Perkz needed to get out of harm's way and allow G2 to find the pick, find the Drake, and get a little bit more damage. And now the gold lead is only continuing to balloon.
Yeah, now it's Infernal Soul point for G2 in 4.5 minutes time. BDD looking up towards the top lane. Jankos gonna spot him. Caps dives in the smoke screen. BDD just had no opportunity, had no knowledge that anyone was waiting for him. Jankos lets out a little chuckle, and he might be laughing his way all the way to semi-finals here, Vedius.
He missed his ultimate. That's why he's laughing. He told Caps to shut up and stop looking at it. He got the kill, and that's all that matters. Caps now may be isolated. Ruler, Life, and Clid are all looking for the collapse. Things are really starting to fall apart here for Gen G as member after member keeps getting caught out. We talked about some of these stars that we need to see step up. BDD, his use of the ultimate in the mid lane was good, but it didn't result in anything. Ruler still not at a point where he can really carry on this Ezreal, and Gen G, they're not getting these team fights that they want. They need to try to slow the game down, wait for that next Infernal, try and get as many items as they can before going for that last ditch fight, because that could be their last fight of the tournament. They need to make every play count.
And with Caps and Jankos pushing in the top lane, working as a duo, what we have lacked from Gen G, we have seen from G2, that ability to create pressure in a side lane, to work jungle and mid together, and manage to play around vision from your opponents. Mickey here is all on his lonesome once again. The Abyssal Voyage used by Life just in case someone was backing up Mickey. And he's just a nuisance. He's a pest more than anything else. Life, once again, stepping forward. There's the knock-up. Smokescreen's been used by Jankos already, and Life is chunked down to half HP. Deadly Flourish is going to connect as well as G2 look to push in, gain this mid-pressure. Look at the TP behind them. The Rascal on a great flank position here in Gen G. They want the fight right now. BDD with the Destiny will get away. And perhaps they've caught out Perkz on the back line. But here comes Mickey once again. Stormbring it in from Rascal. Takes one. Mickey's going to fall shortly after he dances back. Rascal gets a double. The Volley Bear ripping G2 asunder with his claws. That's 3 for Rascal, and Gen G have found the fight they were looking for. Counts would have to do something incredible to turn this one around as Wonder dives in. Counts can't get in there as well. That's 4 for Gen G. And Benny, you said it might be their last fight of the tournament. Well, they are darn well fighting back.
They certainly are, Medic. Beautiful team fight for Gen G. 5 members still alive with only Caps left standing. He's a good player, but I don't know if he can 1v5 this. There's no ultimates left to steal. Ruler's going to keep him zoned out of the pit. No TPs left available. He's going to have to go back to base. Gen G are not out of worlds just yet.
With the Baron secure, Gen G will equalize that gold. Only 1,000 between the two teams now, and you can see this flank TP from Rascal.
It looked like BDD was going to get collapsed on, but it ends up being Perkz. He gets chunked out, and then look at Rascal on the back line. Rips apart the Jhin, focuses down Jankos and Caps. He just can't get involved. He's being kept at arm's length. And then Rascal staying alive at the very end with the help of Life. Extremely well played fight from Gen G, utilizing the strength of their comp, and this was the team fight that they've been looking for all series long. 4 for 1.
I don't know if that was at the start of the team fight or the end of the team
that
fight.
was a pretty good team fight. Why are you upset? This is great for Gen.G.
And you can see Ruler really popping off in that fight. 4,000 damage on the Ezreal. Didn't pick up a single kill, but that sometimes the scoreboard can betray the skill of the players. We'll see how much Gen.G can do with this Red Bull Baron power play.
Now, the next most important thing is going to be this fight at the Drake. It is the sole point for G2 Esports, and Gen.G do not want to give it up. Ruler is getting stronger. He was one of the stars that we talked about that needed to step up, and he's doing just that. Both teams looking at each other dead in the eye, grouping up in the mid lane, side lane pushing for G2 in the bot side. Gen.G have it pushing in top.
Ruler doesn't have Death's Dance yet, Vedius. That item could change a fight.
A lot of damage onto Perkz. Gen.G feeling very confident right now. Perkz does have his summoner spells up, which is going to be very important for the next fight. But Rascal very tanky right now. I like this positioning from Gen.G. They're keeping the priority up in mid. They're making it harder for G2 to maintain control over the river, but you can see that Gen.G having to walk through Fog of War.
No vision. Mickey looking for the flank, puts down a control ward. BDD pushing in mid, has the destiny to join his team if a fight really starts. Rascal's going to go around and clear out this vision from G2, make it so that Mickey can't get the flank position, tries to dive in, can't land onto Rascal. Walks out, the control ward cleared, Caps spotted with the destiny. BDD still pushing in mid, Caps alone towards the back of the pit. The destiny comes in for BDD, and Caps is on the blast cone, tries to get over the wall, just about survives. Gen.G collapse, and now the Inferno Dragon, the target. Clit's going to dive in. There's the quickness, the Stormbringer. Gen.G looking to turn this fight around as they go for the Inferno, but it's taken by Jankos, it's taken by G2, and they'll take a kill to top it off. Wonder down, Rascal down, the TP coming in from Caps as Gen.G on the wrong side of the rift. Here comes Caps, GLP for the slow, Clit, BDD locks in the stun card and smashes it straight at Caps. And now Gen.G backing away once again. There's an Infernal Soul ticking away on G2. Ruler, full HP, almost full mana. Caps uses the Lamb's Respite to try and hit him up, but Perkz flashes forward and snipes out cleared, and that's no Lamb's Respite. Up for Gen.G. Caps goes golden, Ruler's still alive though. Diving in, he jumps away, he flashes the wall. BDD able to flash away as well, and Ruler's doing so much work in this fight. He's holding, kicking and screaming as G2 try and knock Gen.G out of Worlds.
Ruler is doing everything in his power to keep Gen.G alive in this game. While they will not fall, they will lose the Infernal Drake. Ruler showcasing why he is a world-class player. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Let's have a look back at this fight. The Lamb's Respite comes out to keep the dragon alive. But it's Jankos that gets the smite, and the auto as Clit actually jumps out. I don't know if his smite was on cooldown there, as he may have had to use it to keep himself alive. Of course, life goes in. He then gets caught out.
Oh, there's a fight, there's a fight, there's a fight. Bring us back to the action. Rascal devoured up. Life maybe overstepped here. Wonder diving in. Look for Clit, looking for Rascal. Can't quite find them. Sorelli is used by G2. The curtains are opened. And G2 are looking for the final act of this fight. Stormbringer in from Caps, destroys the turret and dives back in. Kingslayer's going to keep him alive for the moment, but look at the damage that Ruler can do already. 3 down. G2 rip Gen.G asunder. And now they are looking for the win. Infernal Soul still on them. The inhibitor tower down. And amongst the wrecks of the LEC, amongst the wrecks of the LCS, G2 stand tall for the West. They are carrying the hopes of Europe on their shoulders. They are looking to be the LCK killers once again. Ruler and Clid have to do something miraculous to defend. It looks like G2 will back away. The minions cleared out. And for the moment, G2 will retreat.
With Ruler still alive, and perhaps the re-engage from G2, they're going in.
Flashes forward, exhausts Perkz. Clit gets knocked up. Jankos trying to do it again. Ruler's still doing some damage. Wonder, blast goes in. Looks for Ruler. Can't get the stun. Does get the stun. Still dead before he can slice and dice his way through the enemy AD carry. And now Gen.G are TPing in. They're looking for more. They're looking for the TPs. BDD coming in from the back. Jankos forced away. Gen.G, Rascal flashes forward straight in. Mickey trying to survive. BDD gets the shutdown on Perkz. Mickey's going to dive back onto Jankos. Where is Caps? You always have to look for him in a fight like this. He's looking for the flank position. Rascal still stepping forward. Caps has a flank. Who's he looking for? Ruler's alive. Stormbringer used by Rascal. Dives in, but he doesn't get the tower deactivated, and so he can't step any further. Caps couldn't find the flank, and Gen.G, holy moly, they are landing punch after punch in this game.
Right, Medic, you take a second to breathe. I'll take it from here as wow. What a back and forth between the two teams. The game looks done and dusted. G2 won a team fight in the mid lane and they are looking to end. But as long as Ruler doesn't die, Gen.G still have a chance. They even re-engaged onto G2. They were looking to get a couple kills, couple shutdowns, a little bit more golden experience in their back pocket, and it was worth it. The Baron is now alive, and this could very well be the fight that decides the game. Gen.G still very much in it. A lot of powerful items have come through. G2 though, they have the wave constantly pushing in mid, so they're looking to push a wave up in top. Mickey gonna take a little bit of damage.
Perkz is not with the team. He's in mid lane.
Medic, you rehydrate. There's gonna be another huge fight. You're gonna need your voice for it. Gen.G, they're gonna secure themselves the mid tier 2. Things are starting to calm down a little bit as the tension starts to rise once more. Top and bot pushing in favor of G2. G2 just have to wait, but they're not going to. They're going to go in.
Mickey BDD's almost dead already. The Devour comes out. It's Life tries to keep him alive. Rascal trying to get onto the back line. The Ram's spit used by Life. Rascal dived on. Quickness being used as well. Rascal doesn't have anyone to help him. Doesn't have anywhere to go. He's down. Caps used the Ram spit to keep himself alive. Jankos on the chase. Clint has died. Life has died. G2 have done it. Gen.G, unless Ruler and BDD can pull a rabbit out of a hat, they are done. The deadly flourish connects. BDD goes down. G2 4 for none, and now they're pushing for the win.
Only Ruler is left standing to keep the hopes of Gen.G alive. The star of this team has the weight of his team on his back, and I don't know if he can do it. He's going to TP back into the base, but he's 1 versus 5. I don't know if he can hold the line. G2 looking to end.
G2, they don't want Ruler to survive, and he will fall. Life up in 5, but it's too little too late. G2 will carry the hopes of the West into the semi-finals. They will carry the hopes of Europe into a showdown against Down1 Gaming after they're done demolishing Gen.G on their fountain.
G2 end up with the 3-0 over Gen.G. There were a lot of question marks about their performance after the group stage.